There's a need to fear. The Underhills are here.
Broadcasting live and around the world. From Cabana One, the only podcast that's all ball bearings. Your ultimate source for everything Fletch.
Moon River. Whew. Thank you, Doc. You ever serve time?
Laker Jim and his beat reporters will stop at nothing to make sure Fletch lives forever. They don't shower much. This is FletchCast.
Thank you, Sammy, and welcome to FletchCast. Now, this episode is a little different because we've dedicated it entirely to the Underhills.
Excuse me, senor. You are a member of the club? No, I'm not. I'm with the Underhills.
Now, one would think, great, I love the Underhills. We didn't think one day of Underhills was enough. So we expanded it to 7 days of Underhill, okay? We felt that with the amount of stuff we're going to drop on you guys, you're going to need 24 hours in between each episode to really take it in.
To really digest it.
Really digest it, and then come back for more Underhill, okay? We felt that was the safest way to handle this subject.
Just like Mr. Underhill, he's not quite finished.
Does that look like I'm finished?
Does it look like I'm finished?
He'll let you know when he's finished.
Same thing. He'll let you know. And just like that, we'll let you know when we're finished with the Underhills.
Exactly. When the episodes stop,
we're done.
Now I'm finished.
Now, Underhill himself, if you had to describe him, maybe I would say he's kind of like an angry enigma wrapped in some tight short shorts and covered in liver spots.
I agree. Middle-aged, probably frustrated in many different ways. And he likes to take out his aggressions on people that put things on his lunch bill and overzealous waiters.
Right.
I think kids would call him a boomer Karen.
Yes, very much. He's a Ken. That's what we should call him. There's Karens and there's Ken, maybe.
There's Karen and there's Underhills. I think what we're trying to get to at the bottom of this week-long Underhill homage is, who is Ted Underhill? What is Ted Underhill? When is Ted Underhill? Why is Ted Underhill? And I think we're going to cover all those questions and more on this week of 7 days of Underhill.
Would you like some drinks, senor? While you wait, I will put it on the Underhill's bill.
Okay, so right off the bat, I have a question for you guys.
Yes.
Is it Ted or is it Tom Underhill?
Ted.
I thought so too, but his wife calls him Tom.
When does the wife call him Tom?
When he's getting angry with the waiter, she says Tom.
I never picked up on that.
Obviously, this actress flubbed the name.
Yeah, I don't think I picked up with that either. Yeah.
Called him Tom.
Huh.
But in the script, his name is Tom Underhill.
I got to see this scene now again.
Is it the only time we hear Ted is when he's knocking on Joan Stanwyck's door and he says,
I'm sorry to disturb you. It's Ted Underhill here.
Yes, Gail Stanwyck. You're slipping in and out of the book.
I'm sorry. You're right. Book and movie are merging in my brain. But so maybe it was a slip by the actor.
Exactly. Maybe it was William Traylor that flubbed the name.
And wait a minute. In the credits, is he credited as Tom or Ted?
I think Mr.
Think it's Mr.?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Mr. Underhill.
I'll look it up real quick.
Okay.
While you're doing that, I never picked up on that once, but it's not a situation where like Ted is a nickname for Thomas, is it?
No, it isn't.
No. And I was thinking that too. I think they're totally separate.
Could be a pet name that Mrs. Underhill has.
Ooh, maybe.
All right.
I got to see this scene again now, find out and see her calling him Tom and see if you're just mishearing her. Maybe she's calling him something else, but I imagine you're not.
There's many misheard quotes in Fletch.
LJ, why don't we play it and hear for ourselves?
Okay, listen closely. Right after he says, "Does it look like I'm finished?" she says, "Tom."
Sorry, Mr. Underhill. Does that look like I'm finished? I guess not.
Okay, so right there. Did you guys hear it?
Plain as day.
Yeah, she definitely says
Right.
Tom.
Wow.
Maybe she's talking to the waiter.
I don't think so.
Chinese busboy. I don't think his name Tom.
Yeah.
Is there a world where she's talking to the busboy and thinking like, busboy, like, not to like, disturb my extremely obnoxious husband about his last bite?
Well, that's the point of day one. Day one of Underhill is all our questions.
Hey, questions, just fill my head. I went to my doctor said, hey.
By the way, Bob, you're right. In IMDb, he is credited as Mr. Underhill.
Ooh, they covered their asses.
Yeah.
With that goof.
Yeah, they certainly did.
And that's not the first problem either. We're going to talk probably about other little Easter eggs we know. And Laker Jim, I know you're probably chomping about at the bit at one that you've been holding on to for a while about his credit card. But he, it is Ted Underhill as far as we're concerned. I think listening to it, I think Mrs. Underhill the actress just screwed up.
You get those slips once in a while, yeah.
But how crazy if it is his screw up that a flub name becomes a very iconic name that everyone knows and a 7-day podcast is dedicated to.
That's all right. They'll be back. He went out for his urinalysis.
But listen, on the surface, Ted Underhill is a crotchety asshole, really. Uppity asshole.
I imagine you're expecting a nice gratuity, right? Maybe next time.
But is he, man?
Someone of your acquaintance has charged a $400 lunch to my account.
Or is he monster?
Mrs. Stanwyck!
We are going to really look at it from all angles this week. We're going to look at it from Ted Underhill's side. It's easy to just cast judgment from what Fletch walks by and hears. But there's got to be more to the background of the story. We're going to empathize with good old Ted or Tom. and we want you guys to have an open mind as well. Please listen to this with an open mind. Leave all your judgments at the Racquet Club door as we journey through this extravaganza with you, this Underhill extravaganza.
Yeah, the Underhill thesis. It's like we're going for our doctorate, and we are really just going to examine him on all levels. The actor, the man, the character,
the lover,
all aspects of the lover.
Yeah, well, I saved his life during the war.
You were in the war?
No, he was. I got him out.
Can we call it an Underhill celebration of life, or is that too far? Should we not be celebrating someone like him?
No, it's absolutely It's not at all too far. This is a celebration. Like all great characters, there are musical tributes. And the character of Ted Underhill has several musical tributes from bands out there and named their songs out there. Now, granted, we've never heard of these songs. They've never made the radio waves or the music charts, but they're out there, and they're no less beautiful than any other love song that Taylor Swift might be singing today.
I'm sure if you come across a Ted Underhill song, you were looking for it.
Well, it's the same thing with the Alan Stanwyck song.
Yes,
that we had on the Matheson episode. LJ dug that up. I don't know where you find the time for these things. I mean, my goodness, when time hangs low, I guess you just find these things. These little
go for
nuggets.
You
really do.
That's my motto.
Wow. He is the perfect adversary, though, for Fletch.
Yes.
But and to the point, though, that over the years, Stanwyck and Underhill are probably in the original movie two that stand out. Even the Chief, you don't really think about that much. It's either Alan Stanwyck, but as far as quotable, Underhill's at the top.
And I think for somebody that probably holds no more than 4 minutes of total airtime in the whole movie.
Yeah.
Somebody that maybe hasn't seen Fletch in 20 years, knows to put it on Underhill quote. That transcends time, transcends generation. It transcends the universe.
Time and space. It really
is. Time and space. Really.
It's still hanging out there. Long after we go the way of the dodo, Ted Underhill will still be there.
These 7 days of podcasting will be broken down even more. God knows what will be discovered in 100 years from now.
I just discovered that she calls him Tom.
Yeah, you're right. That's the first day one. We've already learned new things.
Yeah, I was this many days old when I found out that his wife doesn't know his own name.
We've been waiting 30 plus years for a special edition Fletch DVD. right? When we finally got one, the only thing they put on there was a very short documentary, but you know what they called it?
What do they call it?
Charge It to the Underhills.
Charge It to the Underhills.
Yep. I mean, to pick
That's
one
awesome.
title of all Fletch things, they picked that one.
I think that anybody could argue that, and we talked about this before, but I'm going to say it again, that put it on Underhill or any kind of, any kind of reference to the Underhill credit card is probably the most, misquoted. Like people probably misquote that line all the time, but it's also probably the most used quote where people kind of, like we always do this, the three of us always do this. We kind of change the quote around to kind of fit whatever point we're trying to make. Everyone, at some point in their life, no matter who you are, has probably said,
Give each other $20, okay? Put it on Underhill.
It might be the biggest quote in the entire Fletch, universe.
You're right. I think the Underhill quote is the number one quote of all time. Luke, I'm your father is the number 2 misquoted quote of all time. And then there's
Beam me up, Scotty.
Yeah.
Kirk never said that.
Beam me up, Scotty. And then there's everything else after that. Those sort of stand on the top.
It has its place, but there's so many things that define Underhill, and let's get into some of those right now.
Listen, I think that's a lot for day one, don't you think? I mean, I think now is when we need to send people on their way to start their day and really digest all these questions.
Yeah, so
I have
in the next episode. I want to get into the physical description of Underhill. Is one of the first things I want to talk about.
We absolutely will.
I want, it's a challenge today, since hopefully most people are listening to this morning. I want you, during your day today, to somehow work that Underhill quote into your daily lives in some way.
Beautiful.
Yes.
That's a great thing to send people on.
Yes, send people off and then plug our podcast after that.
Yeah,
right. I mean, listen, don't be afraid to bang on a bathroom door and yell, Mrs. Stanwyck, Mrs. Stanwyck, and then it's the
Does it look like I'm finished? Does it look like I'm finished?
Right. It works in so many different scenarios. This is an easy one, to be honest. Jake just gave you a layup. And on that note, we're going to put a cap on this episode. But before we say goodbye, like we promised you, we're going to play a little tune from the Ted Underhill Organ Express.
Can't wait.
For Jake, for Bob, I'm Laker Jim. Hope you enjoyed day one. See you guys tomorrow. Play us out, boys.
Jesus H. Christ, where is he?